Hello everybody and welcome back to World of Warships Legends. My name is Spartan Elite 43 and tonight we are back in the Tier 5 Italian battleship, the Andrea Doria. And before we get started, let's just take a look at our commander. We're running Azurlane Littorio with Azurlane Scharnhorst and Paolo de Revel as our inspirations. We are running Flammable Cannoneer, Gyrating Drill Bits, Marksmanship, and Reaching Out XXL. We also are running Fight Fire with Fire. Okay. We have Aiming Systems Mod 1, Steering Gears Mod 2, and we are fully upgraded. We get 4 heals with 3 enhanced secondary boosters. Obviously, we're not a secondary build, so we don't really care. I probably ought to change this over to the new Spartan helmet. There we go. Perfect. Survivability, 42,200 with this build with a 20% torque reduction. Main batteries, you have 2 triple turrets and 2 double turrets that are both 320mm 44 caliber M1936s. They fire out to 17.3 kilometers, reload in 25.6 seconds, have a main battery turret traverse of 29 seconds, which is very good. Shell grouping of 1.68, which is very bad. Whoops, too far. Firing HE, maximum damage 4,700 with a 35% chance to set fires and 55 millimeters of armor penetration. Firing AP, they have a pretty low AP shell damage of, with this build being buffed slightly, 10,260 damage with 707 millimeters of armor penetration at point blank, 308 at range. But it does have improved pin angles of 55 degrees and 70 degrees. So instead of 45-60, it's 55-70. So pretty solid pin angles there. So you can't argue with that. Secondaries, 135 millimeter 45 caliber auto 1938. You get 12 of those, reaching out to 4.7 kilometers, firing every 5 seconds. They fire SAP with a maximum damage of 3,000 and can pin 38 millimeters of armor penetration and have 70-90 pin angles. The other secondaries you have is 90 millimeter 50 caliber auto 1939s. You get 10 of those, reaching out to 4.7 kilometers, reloading in 3.5 seconds. Also shooting SAP with a maximum SAP damage of 2,000 and can pin 26 millimeters of armor with 70-90 penetration angles. AA defense, better than the French, but still not amazing as you'd expect at tier 5. 20 millimeter 65 caliber Beretta 1935s. You get 16 of those doing 44 damage per second, but only out to 2 kilometers. And then you have the 37 millimeter 54 caliber Beretta 1938. You get 18 of those doing 147 damage per second, reaching out to 3.5 kilometers. And you have the 90 millimeter 50 caliber auto 1939s. You get 10 of those dual purpose secondaries with 97 damage per second, reaching out to 4 kilometers. So again, not bad, not great. Maneuverability though, maximum speed 25.1 knots despite taking gyrating drill bits, which slows us down a little bit. I believe that would normally be 27 knots with gyrating drill bits off, so keep that in mind. Turning circle 640 meters, so pretty good there. Can't really complain. Concealment. Detectability by sea 13.5, 11.3 by air, 2 is always guaranteed, and 8.4 kilometer smoke firing penalty. An absurd smoke firing penalty for a battleship if you can get to use it. Obviously, we don't have smoke yet. But win rate pretty much says everything I think about this ship. It's okay. It's not anything special. It can be fun at times. It can be absolutely frustrating at times. Small sample size, 11 battles, but 40% main gun accuracy kind of shows you where the main guns are at. A lot of my battleships are 43 to 45%. Some are even higher than that. So 40% is pretty low, for me anyway. Average damage is decent though, 84,900. So despite having a little bit worse accuracy, it still punches people in the mouth. And that goes to those better pin angles that we talked about, right? So keep that in mind. Armor-wise, it's pretty standard for a Tier 5 battleship. Nothing too crazy. You do have a little bit of an extended belt, but it does not go all the way to the bow, so you essentially can be overmatched. 26 millimeters, anything from 15 inches and above, goes straight through the bow and starts to cause problems. You do have a little bit of a belt with some torpedo bulges. You do have a little bit of a turtleback armor scheme as well. Torp bulges, however, for this thing are well underwater, so you don't get any added protection really from those when it comes to shells. If we get rid of everything else, get rid of the turtleback, you can see that you do have a massive citadel there. So if somebody does get through your turtleback, it's going to hurt bad. And that's pretty standard for most of the battleships that are Italian. Just like the Russians, you get caught broadside, you go to the bottom. There it is, no other question. Cruisers are capable of citadeling the higher tier battleships for the Italians as well. This one, being a turtleback, I doubt a cruiser would be able to citadel it, but battleships potentially can. I'm not 100% sure. It's been a while since I've shot an Andrea Doria. As far as everything else, we already know what this thing is. So, with all of that being said, let's get to the gameplay. Alrighty, so we're going to be on Neighbors, and we are in the Andrea Doria, and we are going to have a doozy of a match. I ain't gonna lie, I think this might be my best match I've ever played in this ship. I could be wrong, I didn't look. I was just over there, you'd have thought I would have looked, I didn't look. I'm sorry. But this is still going to be an absolutely bonkers match in the Andrea Doria. So, I hope you guys are ready. This is going to be fun. Notice there are two things that make this thing way better for this particular game, and that is, one, there's only a single destroyer. Two, there is no carrier. Which means, three, we get to have all the fun. So right off the bat, I'm going to try to go to the right side of the map. Now, our Emile Berton decides he wants to YOLO forward. This is both a good thing and a bad thing. One, it's good because he'll spot some people. And two, it's bad because if he gets spotted, he goes bye-bye. Emile, great ship, but definitely does not want to be the first thing everybody sees. Now, we got spotted momentarily, so I'm pretty confident that there's at least a cruiser nearby, if not their destroyer. Here, we're going to go ahead and try to take a shot over the top of Mount Everest over there, across the mountain, to see if we can hit the Fuso, because you miss all the shots you don't take. And we're going to get rewarded for it. Not a huge amount of damage. 5,400 damage is nothing to sneeze at. We've got a Belarus over here, so we got to keep an eye on that. We definitely don't want to be broadside to those. We already know what those Spanish cruisers are capable of, and so we want to be mindful of it, but not afraid. Just mindful of where they're at and what they can do to us, right? And then we see we're going to have an absolute beautiful time over here. We got a Viribus Unitas, we got a Cavour, we got just all the small little ships you could ever ask for. What in the world was that? Oh, never mind. It was great. Fantastic even. 10,000 damage right there. Just slapping that little guy around. And again, this is the kind of matchmaking that you just dream about at Tier 5. Like, you are top tier, ain't a carrier, and so what the really? The first time he hits me, he gets a double fire? At least make him work for it. Speaking of working for it, hold these for me. You want to play around and sit broadside because I shot at somebody else? I got a fast reload. And that stings. But as expected, we're going to go ahead and turn back around and head back the other direction. We don't want to push directly into these, despite having a great ship for the situation and having a lot of low-tier ships to shoot at. You still will get overwhelmed if you're not careful, so you still have to play with some strategy. And so we reverse course for the time being. We're trying to hit the bow there, because I know I overmatch, and it manages to hit the one place he has armor, his turrets. So, unfortunately, we don't get to overmatch him. But as we're expecting them to shoot back at us, they just don't. Well, one of them does, horribly. I'm going to assume that was the Conte du Cavour, the Italian Tier 4. But we're going to take a shot at this Viribus Unitas. Again, right over the top of the island, absolutely begging for it, completely sells us short, and we slap the shit out of him, as we should. Like, if you're going to turn broadside in front of somebody, you better make sure that they're not loaded. Or about to be loaded. And again, That's where this thing is one of those sneaky little battleships. It may not be the most accurate ship, but the fact that it's capable of reloading quicker than you'd expect catches a lot of people off guard. And these pin angles, like we discussed, these pin angles are nasty. And this is one of those things that a lot of people don't talk about. And there you go. Conte de Cavour, over-angled, begging for it. He shoots at us, gets absolutely nothing for his trouble, and then takes, a quarter of his health and damage. And again, we're not hitting people for all of their health right out the gate, right? Except for we did slap the crap out of the old Belarus out there. We're not hitting them for everything. Well, we're going to fire the front guns at him and fire the rear guns at him and see what happens. And he's going to get Citadel again. I mean, he just hasn't learned his lesson. And we know he's a triple burst fire, so we're able to get the fire put out, and we're not expecting to get reset on fire. So we good. Right? We want to limit the amount of fire damage he gets anyway, so ain't no big deal. We're using our first heal as well. We got 3 more where that come from. And come 4, I mean, there's not much he can do about this. I'm just going to overmatch his bow and just keep chunking him. And then since he's about to disappear, well, I'm about to run into the island, so I'm going to try to turn and avoid this island. And this is where this turning circle comes in handy. Remember we talked about that too? This thing has a really good turning circle. A lot of the dreadnoughts do, mainly because they're slow as crap. But they also have, like, decent ability to turn, right? A lot of dreadnoughts do. That's why the dreadnought shuffle is so freaking good at lower tiers. It's still usable at higher tiers, too, but it's way more effective at lower tiers. Like, you can get some absolutely nutty angles off before people actually hit you back. It's kind of nutty. But, that being said, I am not without mistakes. And I am also, I've had pretty good RNG up to this point. 70,000 damage is nothing crazy, right? But it's still really good. And then we hit that thick Spanish belt armor. And that goes to show, even with good pin angles, that Spanish belt armor is nasty. And then we fire the other gun and we just miss outright. And we get double fired. And we're about to get our damage control back, but we are over-angled to this this guy in the Cavour, but also to the Viribus Unitas. And so we need to be a little bit more careful here. Cavour, I know I'm going to kill him, so I'm over-angling here, trying to get rid of him. We get a really bad salvo there. I'm pretty sure the Cavour still has the extended belt all the way to the bow, so we got to aim a little higher here, so you can see I aim real high to make sure that we get plenty of pins to kill him. And that's when the Viribus Unitas decides to say hello. I thought. Maybe not. Maybe not yet. He will, I promise. Maybe it was after I kill this Trento right here, which, I mean, this guy is broadside and begging for it, and Italian on Italian violence is about to occur. I say as I completely whiff. What was that? Over pins? Really? Don't do it to me again. Bonk. That's what should have happened. Ow-wee! See what I'm saying about the Viribus? He just slapped the shit out of me. Oh, look. Italian sea mines. Who'd have seen that coming? A broadside Italian cruiser? I would have never have guessed. But Viribus also broadside is crap and begging for it. So we get the back-to-back firing dev strikes. You gotta love it, man. And just like that, we're up to 119,000 damage. And Belarus is absolutely thinking about coming around the corner. And, you know, he's tested his luck multiple times throughout this game. Eventually, it's got to come back and bite him in the backside, right? Dagnabbit, we almost had it. That was our Kraken right there. That could have been our Kraken. We would have finished him off, and then we would have been able to potentially take out this Fuso, Kraken, but no, not to be had. Now there's an unknown destroyer somewhere, and it's just this Fuso, right? So, the Fuso initially, I have no health. Like, 6,700 damage against a 10-gun battleship is not a lot, especially at these ranges. So, all he has to do is aim for my superstructure, and he kills me. Fortunately for me, he decides to go behind the island, which gives me enough time to use another one of my heals, which is a solid heal. It's not a super heal or anything crazy, but it is a pretty good overall heal, so you can't really complain about it there. But we do have one more of those to go, and now I'm feeling a little bit more comfortable. Now that we're going to have over 10k health, I think we end up with like 12k, 12 and a half, but we're going to have this Fuso basically flat broadside to us once he comes around this island. And so I'm ready to be ready for him, right? Like, he shot our cruiser, and so like I'm feeling pretty confident that I'm going to have his flat broadside to shoot at. And I mean, look at this angle. you're not going to ask for a much better shot. And mostly horizontal dispersion, and we absolutely clap his cheeks 2 citadels. But of course, we're not allowed to kill anything. You guys know that. He does get some shots at us, but we're already angling, so most of that just bounces harmlessly off of us for basically nothing. And I mean, Fuso is still way over angled and absolutely begging for it. Now, you got to remember this about these Japanese battleships. You want to hit either in the middle or slightly aft, especially early on, because they have like a little bump at the rear turrets that sticks up higher on the citadel. So you want to hit slightly aft of the superstructure if you can. Maybe right at the X turret, the first rear turret. But overall, 164,000 damage game in the Andrea Doria, 2,600 base XP, 2 dev strikes back to back, and high caliber. What more can you ask for? You still arguing that this is not the best tier for the battleships yet? Do you agree yet? If you don't, please let me know down in the comments below, and if you do, I appreciate you. You can also let me know down in the comments below. I've still got a few more games here in the Tier 5 battleships that I've got lined up. I got one in the Warspite, I got one in the Donkey, and I think I got one in the Tennessee for you guys. So we got 3 more Tier 5 battleships I'm going to showcase for you guys. I just wanted to get all of the nations out first, and then we'll go back and kind of get some of the double battleships per nation. But anyway, I'm glad you guys are enjoying this. It's been a nice little break from all the high tier stuff. It's been a little bit nicer coming down here for a little while, recording some videos. So let me know what you guys think down in the comments. If you like what I'm doing, punch a like button, leave a comment below, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and as always, I will see you in the next video.